So Dane, you know that phrase like truth is scarier than fiction?
Truth is stranger than fiction?
That's the one.
Yep, that's the one.
Okay, cool. So like, do you ever feel like you're living in a simulation?
I mean, all the time.
Do you ever feel like people have like there's some people that might have been given the algorithm to the Matrix before it's been written?
Do I feel like there are some people that are operating outside the rules of the rest of us?
Well, no. I mean, just like, do you think there's some people that can see the future?
Not in terms of like people with power, but people that like...
No, like clairvoyance and stuff that have like a better view of the future than we can within the moment itself.
Right. Not that they even know that they're outside of the simulation or whatever. Or
right.
The Matrix.
No, they're well within it, but they see it for what it is.
Right.
Like,
yeah, no, I think I don't know.
Like future predictors, like palm readers, like, you know, the $1 million entities that, you know, crystal wielding, positive thinkers go to these people and they tell you that you're on the right path and keep going. Like, I don't want to say the name.
Are you saying, do they know some shit?
I mean, most of the time, no. They're full of shit. You just pay them a bunch of money so that they can tell you that you're doing exactly what you need to do. But sometimes they do hit the nail on the fucking head. And I think we have one of those today.
Ah, I see.
You see where we're going here.
Nice.
You thought I was going off on a tangent.
No, you got a nice little segue here.
So
okay?
like, I feel like today's discussion is going to be...
You know, David, you're launching off 2021 firing on all cylinders. Well, I'm proud of you.
I try to fire on at least 4 at a time.
Okay.
Get it up to 60 miles per hour, and then we'll see.
Well, good show, but I think your point is well taken, and I think that it gets us going on this episode. So let's launch in.
Let's.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the first episode of 2021.
You made it.
We made it.
All the way through 2020.
You're not dead yet. If you're listening to this episode, you are still kicking, baby, and you made it through the year of all years. So
to be reconciled.
Let's start this one off on the right foot. Episode 23. Somebody's still stuck in 2020. Episode 24.
There we go.
Yes. The first episode of 2021 found at wmdpodcast.com/24 and all your podcast catchers on YouTube. Like, share, subscribe, share it with friends and family, and let's jump in. You know, David and I were discussing how to start off 2021 and how we wanted it to be on more of a lighter foot. We enjoyed
it. We made it. We saw the next year.
we enjoy destroying memes just as much as the next guy. And rest assured, plenty of that will happen in 2021. However, we wanted to start off 2021 on a little bit of, we wanted to crack some jokes. We wanted to have some fun.
But also give credence to the people that have been doing it before we came into the marketplace.
Yes, no, there are people much more creative. And as David was saying in the pre-roll, some pretty insightful people that seem to be just operating outside the simulation. And, you know, we're in 2021, but they're in 2121. They are way in front of us.
They did it through the medium of satire, of comical satire, which actually, it's fucked up to say, especially nowadays, seems to be a lot more. What would you say?
I say this completely
apropos than using algorithms and numbers.
No, I say this completely non-jokingly and non-ironically. You will get more credible information from satire sites than you will from the legitimate, quote unquote, the legitimate media of like CNN, MSNBC, Fox News, CBS. Like satire sites will be more informative. Now, not this particular episode. We're having fun with this one, but in general, like you'll probably be more informed if you read nothing but satire sites. And that is a sad commentary.
We've got the facts and figures to prove it this episode.
We do. So, David, I want you to launch us off. We're going to go through a tweet thread of a famous Twitter satirist. I believe this individual is on multiple social media platforms, but Twitter is the primary focus. And we want to go through their thread and just, have some fun with it.
You might have seen him yourself. The name of the Twitter user, or at least the profile name, is Titania McGrath, right? Did I pronounce that right?
It sounds right to me. I don't know. I say it wrong all the time. So if the originator of this thread, if the person behind it, if we've said it wrong, please let us know. We apologize. We mean no ill intent by mispronouncing it, but we're just bad people. Anyway, we want to direct our listeners to this Twitter thread because if nothing else, you will have a blast over there. It is at Titania McGrath, TITANIAMCGRATH. Wow, Jesus.
Well, you kind of did the...
Yeah. So what
you you did.
What Titania has done, and as we noted, this is a satire page on Twitter. And listen, just for simplicity's sake, let's just say she. We're not going to get into who's behind it and all that kind of stuff. Okay. We're just going to go with the persona.
You don't want to break character.
Don't break character. We're just going to go with the persona of the page itself.
We'll leave the fourth wall for him.
Correct.
Or them.
So what Titania has been famous for is really kind of putting out front how crazy this whole progressive, intersectionalist kind of ideology and agenda, how crazy it can really go by calling shots well in advance of when they actually happen. Things that actually happen in society later.
They, whatever pronoun you want to put on it.
Let's just go with she for simplicity's sake.
Okay, so she started this particular profile without announcing that it was satirical.
Correct.
They did it bold-faced, just stating like this was an actual activist within the ranks of these people.
Yeah, a progressive intersectionalist activist, yes.
Right, correct.
Now, I'm not going to speak for David, but it got me.
It got me too.
In the very beginning, I was like, is this person for real?
Fucking crazy can this person get? Like, they're completely devoid of logic. Like,
which tells you
logical arguments, but they're using them completely illogically.
Which tells you about the world that we're living in. That satire and the real world is almost indistinguishable. And I don't know whether to be sad at that or amused by it or maybe a mix of both, but that's the world we're living in, folks.
Something like that.
So what the McGrath account has done is compiled a 10-part series and a thread that we will share in the show notes page. A 10-part series of all of the predictions that she has made over time that have actually come true in real life. And we're just going to, do a little commentary, a little riffing on each one. And like I said, a little more of a lighthearted episode. We hope you enjoy this because
we'll try to get through it as quickly as possible.
It's going to be funny for us, and we hope it is for you too. So, prediction number 1 on December 22nd, 2018, the Titania McGrath account Titania McGrath account called for biological sex to be removed from birth certificates. And then on December 17th, 2020, the New England Journal of Medicine was happy to deliver. So, the McGrath tweet, we should remove biological sex from birth certificates altogether to prevent any more mistakes from being made. That's 2018. Then from the New England Journal of Medicine, published on December 17th, 2020, we believe that it is now time to update the practice of designating sex on birth certificates. Sex designations on birth certificates offer no clinical utility, and they can be harmful for intersex and transgender people. Moving such designations below the line of demarcation would not compromise the birth certificate public health function, but could avoid harm. So, David,
Oh, God.
anything to say about that one? Looks like Titania called that one a year almost to the day, or no, 2 years almost to the day ahead of time. What do you think, David?
I think it's factually accurate. I've been abhorred by the fact that we try to designate anything that is coming out as biological by biological means. I think that we should do it as a pragmatic, new age, woke approach. And we should just let that thing that doesn't know what the fuck it is when it comes out decide what the fuck it is when it comes out instead of being told what it is.
Love it.
Right?
Love it.
There's nothing to argue with that.
I just love this satire account called it 2 years before the New England Journal of Medicine did. I love that.
Like facts, figures, numerics, zeros and ones need not apply. Let's just try to avoid harm at all costs. Because as we all know, harm leads to harm.
Whatever definition somebody wants to apply to harm.
Which is just as wide as you can make it.
Yeah. Okay. Prediction number 2. On October 1st, 2019, I suggested that young women should be encouraged to travel alone in rural Pakistan. And here's the tweet from Titania on that day. White parents! Exclamation point. If you really want to prove that you're not racist, you should send your teenage daughters on unaccompanied walking holidays in the tribal regions of North Pakistan. Then, on October 12th, 2019, 11 days later, Forbes magazine agreed. Forbes magazine published an article titled, "Why Pakistan Should Be on Every Solo Female Traveler's Bucket List."
I believe in 2001, we knew that Pakistan was unfriendly to American travelers, let alone female travelers, especially from America. Because what do they do over there when they catch those particular people? Do they treat
I
them
don't
as
think
tourists?
they throw them a holiday.
I'm pretty sure they don't put a lei on them and welcome them to Mahalo, you know? Mahalo, welcome.
You're on the other side of the planet here, David guy.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Like, this isn't your fucking weekend in Paris, motherfucker. This is a war country, a country that we are in war with that doesn't like us very much. You want to go backpacking through there? I think there was a group of people that then we have to negotiate to get them back, by the way, that went traveling on a border and they said in the mountains and they said, hey, you probably shouldn't do this. Even the people on the other side of the border goes, hey, don't do that. And then they did it and they got captured and then we had to negotiate the terms of their release.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know the ins and outs of that whole thing. Again, returning back to the theme of this episode, I just love that a satire site is calling this well before a mainstream media
racist.
article like Forbes says, yeah, no, this is totally a good idea.
We can bomb them. That's not racist, but fuck. It would be racist not to go to their country that we're bombing and revel in their culture that we're blowing to fucking smithereens. Why not go over there?
So, prediction number 3 from Titania. On the 19th of September, 2018, I criticized Julie Andrews, a.k.a. some of you may know her as the actress who played Mary Poppins, for chimney soot blackface.
Oh, God.
And that tweet said, a lack of diversity in the acting industry is nothing new. Here's an old photo of Julie Andrews applying blackface for a production of Porgy and Bees. So, Titania's calling out blackface on the person who played Mary Poppins, you know, the one who goes to the chimney and gets soot on her face. Anyway,
chimney, chimney.
A few months later, on January 28th, 2019, the New York Times publishes an article with the title, Mary Poppins and a Nanny's Shameful Flirting with Blackface. This is in the running for my top, David. This is in a running.
I don't know. I
So
thought the Pakistan one was pretty good.
I don't know when Mary Poppins originally came out, 60s, 70s. It's a pretty old movie.
Don't look at me on that one.
It's a pretty old movie. So Mary Poppins, of course, a white character, getting soot on her face from traveling through chimneys.
An English nanny that travels by way of umbrella, flying through the air. By the way, we'll just skip all past that and all the fantasy there.
Yeah,
this one act
goes to a chimney, gets some soot on her face. She's blackfacing, bro. She's blackfacing.
All her white privilege carried her under that umbrella all the way to the ritzy English children that
now,
she had to
apologize 1960s
nanny.
or 70s or whatever Hollywood for this flirtation with blackface, as the New York Times would call it. Wow. You know, I don't know what was going on January 28th, 2019 at the New York Times, but I imagine it was a relatively slow news day. David, what do you think about that?
I would imagine.
Had to be.
They're probably covering something that actually mattered. Probably not.
And, you know, we could have probably done some background research before we started this episode to figure out what was going on in the world on January 28th,
but
2019.
I think the listeners would know just as much as we do that wouldn't be important in the current affairs.
Yeah. All right. Number 4. Titania says on March 7th, 2019, that she published a book called Woke, in which she argued that skyscrapers are oppressive phallic symbols. And a quote from that book. Titania says, "Capitalism, after all, is a singularly male phenomenon. Because, you know, women don't engage in voluntary exchange whatsoever. There's no such thing as female business owners and yada, yada, yada." Anyway, back to Titania's quote from the book. "The ultimate symbol of capitalism, the skyscraper, is nothing more than a giant cock on the horizon, fucking the heavens." That's what Titania had to say on March 7th, 2019. And lo and behold, on July 6, 2020, The Guardian concurred. The Guardian said in an article titled, "Upward thrusting buildings ejaculating into the sky.
I remember that one.
Do cities have to be so sexist?" Here's the undertitle.
Well, let's not skip over that topic. I don't want to be the undertitle.
Hold on. I just want to read the undertitle, then we can go.
Read the
undertitle says, "Toxic masculinity is built into the fabric of our urban spaces," writes Leslie Kern, author of a new book called Feminist City. "And the results aren't just divisive. They can be lethal."
Well, as we all know,
Phallic skyscrapers are murdering people because they jump off of them when their stock portfolio
phallic missiles are shot at other people and blow them into craters, which might be turn them into vaginas. Holy shit, the best things we've ever achieved. The rocket that landed us on the moon, phallic.
Oh, wow. You know what?
Jesus Christ.
I take it back from Mary Poppins. This is my favorite. I want to read Titania's quote again, because it was great. It was great. You're going to love it. You're going to love it. You're going to love it even more the second time than you did the first time.
Now that we've gone over it.
Capitalism, after all, is a singularly male phenomenon. The ultimate symbol of capitalism, the skyscraper, is nothing more than a giant cock on the horizon, fucking the heavens.
Listen, aren't we fighting to get women more into business? So if it is such a phallically driven, like, Jesus Christ, man.
Titania, you are killing it. God bless you. God bless your Twitter page.
What crystal ball do you look through, Titania?
No kidding. This, as you said in the pre-roll, this person is clearly outside the simulation.
It sees where we're going before we actually get there.
Indeed. All right. Prediction number 5. On January 22nd, 2019, Titania called for the Oscars to prioritize diversity. Then on June 12th, 2020, the Academy concurred. So what Titania had to say on January 22nd, 2019. Quote, I've decided to award new intersectional Oscars to ensure diversity triumphs over merit. The categories include...
Triumphs over merit? Did they say that?
That's what Titania said.
Oh,
that's what
okay.
Titania
I was
said.
going to say,
Yeah.
holy fuck. They put that out on their
Remember, David, we're still in satire land. I know it's hard to distinguish,
fuck.
but we're still in satire land.
But I mean, you know.
Okay, so Titania has these categories, is what she put forward. Most feminist picture. Most woke screenplay. Least predatory male.
Do you feel like a predator most days?
Hold on, I got 3 more.
Do you have a cloaking device? Do you hunt SEAL teams?
I don't have it. Titania has 3 more. Gayest sound editing. Fattest supporting Filipino. And finally, bravest vegan in a trans black role.
There you go.
Beautiful. So anyway, on June 12th, 2020, the Academy, in an article published by Filmy One is the name of the publisher, Celebrity News. The title is Oscars Announce New Diversity and Inclusion Plans. Beautiful. Beautiful. Now, we haven't read that article, so we don't know if they adopted Titania's categories.
It wasn't a total home run.
Would not be surprised.
It wasn't a total home run, but...
Would not be surprised.
It's a small victory.
Okay. Number 6. Titania has this prediction. On June 6th, 2019, she demanded an option to mute white males.
Oh boy.
Listen. I, for one, love the opportunity to mute white males. As a matter of fact, if you hate white males, go ahead and mute this podcast right now.
Did you do it? Can you hear me? Is it just me?
We're just talking to ourselves at this point.
Oh, wow. That's a good thing.
We've muted ourselves. For those of you that stuck around, and
I was going to talk to you about that growth before they unmute us.
Oh,
it's like right to the left of something really important, and I don't know if I should get it checked out or not. Seeing as we're just on our own time right now.
Graphic. Anyway, for the 2 of you that stuck around, and maybe those of you that took the mute off,
you just want to listen to silence?
On July 14th, 2020, Instagram concurred. So let's start with Titania's June 6, 2019 tweet, which said, Twitter should come with an option to automatically mute all straight white males.
Jesus.
Sounds very forward thinking. Well,
what happened to that equality thing you guys are championing?
A little over a year later, not Twitter, but Instagram agreed. And Instagram introduced a feature called Mute White People sticker. So, if you had a post on males, Instagram,
just white
people in general.
Wow.
They took Titania's advice and really ran with it. So, so if you just wanted, white people saying things that you didn't want to hear, you could just pop this sticker up on your little post and mute the shit out of white people. Good for you.
Fuck them.
All right, prediction number 7 from Titania. On August 29th, 2018, Titania urged parents to give their newborn babies numbers instead of names. This one's poking fun at our boy Elon. That's okay. Mm-hmm. We're equal opportunities fun pokers. So as you may remember, on May 6, 2020, Elon Musk agreed. So Titania's tweet, quote, we should give all newborn babies numbers rather than names until they are ready to determine their own gender identity.
This is that new movement. It's like
This is a real thing?
This is a real thing, dude. We were just talking about it at Thanksgiving. It's like they call it something. Like they call the parents something. Like go through it. I'm gonna look it up right now. I think they call it like newbies or something like that.
What you really need to do is send me the link so I can put it in the show notes page.
Gotcha.
That's what you need to do.
Gotcha.
So as you may remember, on May 6, 2020, Elon Musk named his newborn child. I'm totally gonna mess this up. XAEA-12. Yeah.
They've given you a pronunciation.
I know they have, and I haven't pulled up the article, and I'm just going to end up butchering it. So, and I know the AE is like, it's its own unique symbol that has its own pronunciation. So,
To
whatever.
wit, I mean, Louis C.K. had a joke about this way back in the day. He said, like, you can name your kid anything you want. Just name him Tin Simbleton or like 40 Fs. Just go clean your room. Like, that was a bit that Louis C.K. had. So, like, it's amazing how satirists.
So we can't even really credit Titania.
I mean,
with this
not
one.
really. I mean, if you want to go way back, it was Louis C.K.
All right. Well, good on you, Louis.
Oh, you can't say that because he's been canceled. Remember?
I know he's been canceled. We can't associate with him in any way, shape, or form. And this podcast issues a disclaimer that all views and opinions of Louis C.K. are not the views and opinions of Dane and David at the WMDpodcast.com.
Even though I'll listen to him still. Because he's funny.
All right. All right. Prediction number 8. Okay. On May 2nd, 2020, Titania was really close on this one. So on May 2nd, 2020, she criticized the NHS. For those of you that don't know, that's the National Health Service. That's the socialized medicine department in the UK. She criticized the NHS for appropriating the LGBTQ rainbow flag. And then on May 6th, just 4 days later, 2020, Forbes magazine agreed. So let's start with Titania's tweet. She says, "The great tragedy of this pandemic is that children throughout the UK have been indoctrinated into appropriating the LGBTQIA plus flag. Never mind the virus. We need a vaccine for bigotry."
Fuck, I can't find it, but going back to the newbies thing, like the not naming your child when they come out, if anybody listening knows, please add to the show notes page if you have any comments or anything like that if you can offer any information to it. Back to the satire.
David's gonna stop being lazy, and he is gonna find that link, and we are.
I'm not
gonna
find the
show
link.
note page.
It's buried. They don't want us to
anyway.
know.
back to Titania's point about appropriating the LGBTQIA plus flag by the NHS. 4 days later, on May 6, 2020, Forbes published an article with the title, "Should the LGBT community call out, quote unquote, appropriation of the rainbow flag for NHS?" Well, good show, Titania. Good show. All right. Number 9, Titania's prediction on December 21st, 2018. So she beat this one by a little under a year. December 21st, 2018, she wrote an article to endorse fighting with relatives during the holiday season.
Because that's what you want to do.
Fight the shit out of grandma.
Holidays is all about, growing further from your family rather than coming together and celebrating each other's presence.
So here's a quote from what Titania had to say in that article. She said, "I will never forgive myself if I don't have a full-blown punch-up with my grandmother over Brexit on Christmas Day." Now, Titania was talking about punching up over Brexit, but the magazine The Nation, a little under a year later, on November 28th, 2019, took it a step further than just complaining about Brexit. And The Nation published an article, and the tweet to that article, which, explained what it was about, said this, and I quote, "This Thanksgiving, it's time to, all caps, fight with your relatives. You might not like conflict, but if you choose to break bread with Trump supporters and climate change deniers because you happen to be related to them, then conflict is required."
So
punch grandma in the goddamn face if she had the unmitigated gall.
Well, what are they? And then to fast forward it to 2020, where we're at now, or almost actually
punch grandma for not wearing a mask. Punch grandma for not locking down. Punch grandma
a president's about to take control, saying that he's going to bring everyone together after you just said all that bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah. After Grandma recovers from her ICU
From her-
visit,
from her black
you
eye, yeah.
massively attacking her for having a different opinion than you, maybe she'll be like, you know what? You beating my ass was right. I should have been a lot more open-minded.
So in 2018, Titania says, fight with your family. 2019, the nation says, yeah, absolutely, go for it. In 2020, it's
We all
supposed
need
to
to
be
come
all
together.
kumbaya.
Oh, you deplorables, come back in here. We'll accept you.
What a time to be alive.
Fuck.
All right. Number 10, and this happened very recently. I actually just saw an article for this in late December 2020. Well, actually, obviously, as you'll see, December 15th, 2020. So, on March 7th, 2019, Titania has this to say about, of all people, Helen Keller. Titania says, and I quote, "Consider, if you will, the example of white American author Helen Keller. Not just American author, not just person, not just woman breaking glass ceilings, a white American author, Helen Keller, who lived from 1880 to 1968. Quote, even though she was left deaf and blind following an illness as a baby, she still managed to study for a degree, write 12 books, and travel the world to give lectures. This kind of privilege is staggering," says Titania. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, dear listener, really? Somebody who is blind and deaf, that's the person who you want to go after as having privilege simply because she has white skin who has nothing to do with being blind nor deaf?
Which would be the satirical side.
Right. You might think, that's funny, Titania. You're clever.
I think you might have gone a bridge too far.
You're
here,
a funny person, but I don't think this one's going to happen
You really
in the real
jumped
world.
the shark on this one.
Well, you would be wrong. Because almost 2 years later, on December 15th, 2020, Time magazine published an article, which in the article had this quote from Black disability rights activist named Anita Cameron. Miss Cameron says, "Helen Keller is not a radical at all. She's, quote, just another, despite disabilities, privileged white person, and yet another example of history telling the story of privileged white Americans." You heard it here, folks. Being rendered blind and deaf from birth makes you still privileged if your skin color happens to be
Something you can't see,
a
by the
certain
way.
tone.
You don't even know what skin color you are
Clearly
anymore.
can't see, and people can't even tell you that you're white because you can't hear them.
Oh, cool. White? What's that? I haven't seen that in a while.
Wow. I don't know, man. That's in the right. David, of these 10, do you have a favorite?
I gotta go with the penis.
It's so hard.
I gotta
pick.
go with the phallic one, man.
Whoa.
That's like
That is a good one, and you know what?
ejaculating into the heavens. Like, what dude doesn't want to ejaculate into the heavens? Take this, you angelic beings. You
know what? Okay, so just because I can't steal, I can't use the same one as you.
Sorry.
I'm gonna have.
Even
Man,
planes are
the
phallic.
Helen,
Just
the Helen Keller one is so good. So good. But, I'm going to have to go with punching grandma over turkey dinner.
I mean, grandma gets a little lippy, tells you that she wants a wall or three,
Especially in that point.
Put her in the sharpshooter. See if grandma wants the wall.
The point that you brought up is, fuck you, grandma, you Trump supporting climate change denying piece of shit. Let's come together, Biden's
you
president.
piece of shit. Yeah, grandma, you piece of shit. You only loved me implicitly since I was a kid. How dare you? How dare you cook a turkey under the auspices of Trump? But let's come together now that you get your stitches out. You look like you're walking okay. After I smash that chair over your back.
I missed this part in the screenshot, which again, go to the show notes page. Click on the link to this whole tweet thread from Titania. So the nation, underneath the little thumbnail of the article about punching grandma, it says, It says, this Thanksgiving, it's time to take on your conservative relatives. Contrary to popular opinion, the holidays are not a time to navigate your uncle's bigoted MAGA jokes. They're the time to confront him.
Yeah.
And again, this was November 28th, 2019.
Because you only see him once or twice a year.
Last year. So, you know, fuck Uncle Joe and Grandma Edith. Fuck them both. We got new hashtag change Biden Harris 2020 in the coming into the White House, so everything's good.
Let's see how many fights they want you to have. Any brawls you want to have at Turkey Day.
All right, so
I thought you were supposed to throw the football on Thanksgiving, not.
So we see where David's head's at. He's all about penises.
Powerbomb. Well, yeah.
I'm all about punching grandma. But listen, Mimis, welcome to 2021. We're glad you made it.
Happy New Year, by the way. I hope you guys.
Absolutely. Did we not say that?
No.
This is the first time we're talking to them in the new year, so we should say that.
Well, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Hope you made some really solid, what are those called? New Year's resolutions?
Yeah.
I'm very resolute in my resolution this year.
We hope your resolutions weren't to go punch your local architect for building penis skyscrapers.
Maybe you just go talk to him
or your grandma.
Did you ever think about another shape? Maybe not cylindrical.
You know, that's a good question. And again, we're trying to wrap it up here, so I don't want to go off too. So if we don't want penis-shaped skyscrapers, what should we build? Giant holes in the ground?
We should go subterranean, motherfucker. Start going downward instead of upward.
Right, because we need equal opportunity representation, right? Correct.
Just slits everywhere. Slits of like the ground with like little crevices and like.
I think that's the way we should go.
Maybe a little nodule to the most northern point.
That's yep.
I think that's a very structurally sound.
When we do that,
I think they call that fracking, by the way.
When we wait.
I thought they were against fracking, but now they want us to frack. You're sending me mixed signals here.
I'm confused.
Titania is going to have to get on this one.
Titania, answer this question. Is fracking a gender-inclusive way to do stuff, or is it bad for the environment? Go.
Well, we eagerly await her reply.
Yes.
And until then,
Mimis, thanks for crossing the year threshold into 2021 with us. We hope this is a great year for you. We hope that this podcast grows over the course of this year, and that at the end of 2021, it'll be nothing but rainbows, sunshine, and unicorns off into 2022.
All of your hopes and dreams don't come to life, but like keep going for them. Like definitely keep pushing for them, and you just make it happen. How about that?
That's right.
Stop waiting for it to happen. Make it happen.
God bless you. WMDpodcast.com/24.
That's the one. Hail Satan.
Podcast catchers, YouTube, like, share, subscribe, get people on that email list so they can stay in contact with us more often. Welcome to 2021. We love you, and we will see you next week.
There you go.